In this video, I'll cover how to read a credit score report. While this video is geared towards real estate investors and landlords, the information you'll find is applicable to many scenarios and you'll find it useful even if you're not a real estate investor. Welcome to findgreattenants.com, your one-stop shop for all things tech and tenant, leveling up your real estate investing game and landlord business. I'm your host, Mackenzie Wilson. If you're new, hit subscribe, ding the bell to stay up to date. All the links mentioned can be found below in the description. Now, stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how to get free unlimited credit checks so you can check every application you get on a rental property going forward. All right, let's get to it. Okay, here we are looking at a neighborly sample report. This report contains a ton of information and it's what I use when I screen tenants. Now in this video in particular, we're just going to look at the Equifax credit score report section of this report. We'll go down and take a look at it and I'll show you what the key information you should be looking at. In another video, we'll actually go through this neighborly report in detail so you can understand how to use it. Oh, a little too far. Okay, here we are. So the neighborly Equifax, or the Equifax report that's built into the neighborly report, is broken down into really three main sections. And before we get into those sections, actually a big takeaway here, the credit score is probably the least important information on this section. While it does kind of give you a point-in-time snapshot of where the financial picture is of a prospective tenant, it doesn't actually tell you the full story. So using it by itself is not going to be very good. In fact, I do not recommend doing that. Really, the value in the credit score report is looking at all the different information. You're grabbing all these different data points, and that's going to give you a really good overall picture of where someone's at. And really, you're looking for a track record of what they do and how they manage their money. By looking only at the credit score, you just get that single point in time, and it's not going to give you the full picture. So it's broken down into three parts, as I mentioned. The first part is going to be information about the individual. We've got personal information here on the left, surname, given name, date of birth, a SIN number. The next section here on recorded addresses, this is where they previously lived. This is where they've had a cell phone bill, or maybe they paid for internet or some service. This is the registered address or the billing address they provided. This information should match on your application with your tenant the previous addresses listed where they have lived at. Super important. So you need to be checking these addresses and the timestamps or the dates that they said they lived there to make sure it matches what they provided you. And when you go to do your landlord reference background check or phone call, you're going to be using the same information again. So this is why it's so critical that you need to make sure this information matches. When it matches and it's validated by Equifax, there's a very good chance that it's accurate now and you know that the tenant's telling you the truth. And when you go to phone your prospective landlord, you can then quiz them on this information and then also make sure you're talking to the right person and not a friend faking a landlord reference call. And it kind of follows through in the next section as well, the recorded employment, same idea. You're going to look for the position, the company, the time frame when they started and when they left should be matching the information provided on your tenant application. So then the inquiry section, this one's good. What I look at from here is this kind of gives you a direction or kind of foreshadows where your tenant's going with their finances. And you can say in this example right now, you can see there's a total number of inquiries. So this is if they applied for a credit card, mortgage, car loans, any kind of financial product. They've done 46 inquiries, which depends really on the area and what they're doing, and I would use this in conjunction with their current credit score. If it's high, but the credit score is high, it's probably okay. And really, you got to look at the last track record. So within the last 12 months, 42 of the 46 inquiries were done then. So that means they're recently shopping for new credit, and maybe they're getting denied quite a bit, so that's why they keep on applying and applying. That could be a foreshadowing a bad thing. Now, if you have the opposite thing here, it says, yeah, there's been 30 inquiries, and in the last 12 months there's 2, and in the previous 3 months there's 28. That's okay. That shows recently that they're financially stable. So that's how I would use this information. Now, a question you might be having is, okay, what is a high number, or what's a total number of inquiries? And really, the best advice I can give you is, as you use this report more and more often, you can get familiar with what's kind of a normal range, and that will give you a good idea of what to expect. From my personal experience, from where I live up here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, 46 would be on the higher side. So let's go down to the public records and the debt summary. Now, this is a really good piece of information too. I'd say this is the second and the third sections I wanted to talk about. Now, the public records, that's going to be if someone's gone to collections for money owing on a bill, maybe it's in your cell phone or internet or whatever it might be, you're going to see it here. Also, if they've claimed bankruptcy, you'll also see here, and then judgment and liens. Now, how I use this when I screen tenants is I start off the conversation saying, hello, Mr. Tenant. Thank you for applying. By the way, part of my screening process or my due diligence is I do background credit checks. Now, in saying that, I don't look for perfect credit, but I look for the ability to pay rent on time. So long as you can prove that to me, we should be okay. And if you do have something happen, please let me know. I kind of preach open communication. So usually when I start off the conversation, when I'm looking at one of my rental properties and they've given me a phone call, this will open up the dialogue. And then usually I'm saying, I've made these mistakes. I have this gone to collection because I forgot to pay this bill, or whatever the story is. You're going to get disclosure, and that's what you'll want. You want to know exactly what's going on, then you can make a accurate or you can make a informed decision. Now, if you get surprised by information here, that's where I'm going to call a red flag, or say, hey, that's a red flag. You should have, if you have the right communication going on with the prospective tenant as you're going through and screening them, you should see what's going on here. You should know already what's going on. And if you don't, that's your red flag. Inquire more, or maybe it's time to move on to the next applicant. Now, the debt summary. This gives you a bit of a picture of what's going on financially on all their different kind of financial products, credit cards, mortgages, car loans, line credits, student loans, medical bills, you name it. It's all thrown in here. And there's two ways to look at this. That's the two biggest takeaways. And it all really comes down to two things: the utilization of a certain product and the late payment, the 30, 60, 90-day buckets. And if you're not familiar with that, that's probably that it is really important, and here's why. So if they've got ticks, like in this example here, we can see there's 3 late payments recorded in this 30-day bucket. That means in the last 30 days they've missed 3 payments on paying their bills, and that can be any product. Well, actually, in this specific one, we're looking at revolving credit and credit cards, so line of credit and credit cards. Now, if they've missed payments in the past 30 days up to 60 days, that's the 60-day bucket. And if you've got any payments late past the 60 days, so 9 days and beyond, that will end up in this last bucket. And this gives you a really good view of their track record of how they've been paying their bills on time. If you see missed payments in the 30, 60, and 90 days consistently throughout, and it's on different products, that basically tells you that this tenant has a very tough time or is not very good at managing their own personal finances. Therefore, it would be a very good foreshadow that they can't pay their rent on time if you decide to choose to go with them. So that's really how you use this tool. The other takeaway here is the credit utilization or utilization of that product. Now, under say other debits, they might have a fixed loan, right? They've borrowed $8,000 from the bank, and that could have been for anything, right? Maybe they decided to use it for a car loan, or maybe they decided to do a business venture, a renovation on a property that they used to own. Who knows, right? But it's a fixed payment structure, means that it could be over a loan term of say 36 months. So 3 years, and they have to pay the same amount every month until the loan's paid back. So that utilization will start at 100% at day one, and then as they go through paying back that product every month, it will slowly decrease over time. So that one you kind of take with a grain of salt. It should be up to 100% if it's a brand new loan, and you'll see it get paid down over time. Now, Obviously, if they've gone through, and mortgages will fall under that same note as well. But if you've gone under the revolving credit, like a line of credit or credit cards, if they're close to being 100% utilized or maxed out, that would be a red flag as well. So I hope that was really a lot of help. That kind of wraps up this section. And then really the last two parts here as well, because I'll touch a quick note on this, is if there's any specific alerts, they'll have some short text down here. From my personal experience, I've seen information kind of all across the board. So what I would try to do is read it and see if it corresponds to other information laid out in this Equifax report. Usually there's something that should relate. But yeah, I hope that really helps you out, and that sums up this section.
Okay, let's quickly just recap what we just learned. The credit score is not the most important piece of information. You need to take the credit score report that's a trusted third party and validate the following information, such as the name, birthday, listed previous addresses, their employment, and other key information against what was provided in their rental application. Don't be surprised by what's found in the public records. If you are, it could be a red flag. For the debit summary, other than a few exceptions, watch out for the max utilization across the financial products. Review the 30, 60, and 90-day missed payment buckets. This will give you insight to the financial habits of your applicant. If they've missed a bunch of payments, they have a track record of not managing their money well, that's a red flag. Or do they have a one-time incident in their life that's affected their credit, such as a divorce? Okay, we just summarized what we've learned. Now, for those of you folks who want to take it to the next level, comment below in the comments your number one takeaway. As they say, what gets written gets remembered. Okay, here's your bonus. As I promised, I'll show you how to get free unlimited credit checks. I use this all the time, and without a doubt, it's been a game changer. Not only do I get better insights to the people applying to my rental properties, I can make better judgment calls because I've got more information to work with. So all this information can be found at Neighborly. The link is below in the description. All you have to do is sign up, and I have no affiliation with them right now. I'm going to try working on that. But just sign up and get in and get applying. You do have to go through a landlord validation process where they do need a government piece of ID to prove who you are, since you will be given confidential information through the credit score reports on your prospective client. They got extremely fast turnaround, less than 90 minutes on average. The reports are extremely detailed and they're streamlined, easy to read. All you need from your tenants is just a name and an email. So no more messy written applications that are unlegible or you can't read. It's all online. It's so easy to use. Well, that wraps up another video. Thanks for sticking around the end. Really appreciate it. Again, if you thought this was valuable, sign up, subscribe. I would totally appreciate it. Share it with among your peers. Let's get this information out to other real estate investors and landlords, and let's make everyone's life a little bit easier. We'll see you next time.